All right. So, um, okay, go to Windows and make sure to go to the Setting Preferences and Plugin Manager. Okay, at the very bottom of this Plugin Manager dialog box, we can see XGen mr.py and XGen toolkit.mll. These are the plugin for the XGen. Make sure they are both loaded in the scene and they are auto-loaded so as to be loaded in the next launch of Maya. Okay, or you can just click on these two options. That will make the plugin to be loaded. So as you can see, we have got a menu here. It's called XGen. If we unload them, the menu will disappear and also we get a warning that the XGen is no longer working. So make sure they are both loaded and the auto load should be on if you want to be loaded when you launch Maya, when you open Maya next time. Okay, that's it. Now we've loaded the plugin, as you can see here. Now this plugin is free now for Maya, and you don't need to pay for it when you buy Maya and install Maya. You'll get XGen for free, and you can use this plugin to make here or scatter objects or fill or any kind of duplicated object around the same surface. For example, you want to make a forest or a grassland or any kind of foliage, or this is very useful, or you want to make leaves to be scattered all over the branches of a tree, you can use this plugin. Okay, so there are various uses for this plugin, and we will cover as much as we can in this series of training. Okay, if you go to the menu here, we can see a few options. We will talk about one by one. Um, the first one is called the Open the XGen window. If you just click on it, a window or a panel will pop up at the right side of the UI. And if you drag and drop to make it float, we can see we've got a couple of options beside a few description. Um, the first one is called create new description and import description. There are two terms you need to know if you want to use XGen. Number one is description, the other one is called collection. Okay, description means creating the object node. If you look at this grass, you can see that this is made in XGen, and so these blades of grasses are the description. Okay, so description means the object node which contain the object information of these instances, or we call them primitives in XGen. Okay, so and also we have collection, which is a group or a folder we can put description in it. So these are the only two terms you need to know for now. When you create a new description, when you click on the new description, you can also import description. If you created a description, you can export it from the menu right from here. Export selection as export collections or descriptions. Okay, you can also import it from here. But the point is here is the creating this new description. How to create a new description? If you click on it, you'll get like an information. It tells you that you need to select object or phases to let you make a description. So you need to create a polygonal face or object. For example, I'm going to create a sphere, and this is a polygonal sphere. And as you can see here, now if we select the sphere and create a new description, I will get something like that. Okay, so this is a create XGen description dialog box. We can name the description. For example, you can call it for example here, or you can call it fair, or you can call it any name you want. For example, description disk test, something like that. So you can give it any name you want, or you can leave it as it is, with the default name description. Also, we can create a new collection, because a description should be inside a collection, should be inside a group. Okay, so let me just create with a default, everything is at the default setting, and I selected a sphere and click it on new, create new description, and everything is at a default setting, and click on create. Okay, if you go to Windows Outliner, you can see the collection, which I talked about before. This is the folder. If we expand the folder, we can see the description, which is the nodes, which contain the information about these primitive objects. Okay, if we deleted the folder, the description also will be deleted, and nothing will be left inside the viewport, or um, the view panel. Anyway, so if we just select the sphere this time, let's just go to something else. Okay, right click, go to faces, and select a few faces this time. So instead of selecting everything, right click on it, go to faces, I select 4 faces in fact, and choose create new description and choose create. Everything's at the default. You can see, instead of having this tube shape, like, which you can use as to be hair or fur or any kind of instance geometry you want to make, instead of covering all the sphere, we only cover the selected part of the sphere. Perfect. So great. Select this sphere again and choose create the description. Let's just talk about the other options. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kinds of primitives. Primitives is the object which the description, when you create a new description, we have 5 options. What kind of object or what kind of instance do you want? Do you want a spline? It's used for long tube shapes like here, or vines, or branches, or any kind of long tube shapes. You can use it. For example, if I just choose spline and choose create, now it's not long enough, but we can make it as long as we want. We have lengths, as you can see, and for example, it is called 5 by the slider. That's the most we can get, but we can change it to something like, for example, 500. Okay, so it is really long. Okay, let's just change it to 1 default value. Okay, so let's delete it. Select the sphere again, choose, we have got groomable. Okay, the difference between groomable splines and splines: groomable splines are very useful when you want to create short type of fur, hair, or any thing like grass, or very short objects. Okay, and besides of, it is very useful for short objects. We will get a bunch of tools which call grooming tools to design and to make shape of this kind of primitive. Okay, so if you click on create, you can see here we'll get grooming, and so this is a grooming tool I was talking about. And now if we go to the primitives, instead of having a slider to play with the length, we don't have any slider because it has been controlled by the groom tool. Okay, so it has been controlled by this one. Okay, we'll talk about that later on, but for now, um, this is the second type of the primitive you can create using XGen. Perfect. Okay. Okay, let me show you another thing. If we delete this guy here and select this one and choose create, except for the groomable, if we choose custom or sphere or cards, okay, okay, and choose create, we can change it here, for example, to spline. Sorry, sphere. This one is spline. Okay, change it to sphere, or you can change it to card, or you can change it to archive. So in the primitive attributes, you can change the type. Okay, this is very useful. Even if you create it, use it a different kind of primitive, you can change it later on. If we select the third type, we have custom geometry. The custom geometry, it's very like you can model something and you can use it instead of having spline or tube shape. You can use any object to be scattered around this all over the surface. Okay. For example, let's just choose custom geometry and choose create. Let me show you a very quick example. You will get a kind of warning that tells you that the archive is empty. Okay, the archive file list is empty, so there is nothing to be covered. But if I just go to create a cube, I want to cover this sphere with this cube. Okay, I'll just change the width and the height, not the height, in fact, the depth. Okay. I want to cover this sphere with this tube. How can I do that? It's very simple. All I need to do is first to save the scene. Go to File, Save Scene As. We have to save the scene to use it. So let's call it test scene XGen and choose save. So we save it. This is the first step. The next step is select the object you want to be used as the scattered or the custom geometry to be used all over the surface. So in this case, I'm using this cube, and we can just choose create from selection. We can give it a name, for example, can call it cube archive, and choose export. It will be inside documents XGen archive, so make sure to explore that document. Okay, this is finished. So if we go to documents, XGen archives, cube archive, we just click on it. As you can see, it tells you to copy the material. Okay, just choose yes, doesn't matter now. We'll talk about material and the shader later on. For now, as you can see, we've covered the sphere. Okay, with this cube, and it is randomly across the surface. We can change the size. For example, let's change it to 4. Now it is covering the cube with these cubes. Okay, so this is it. So let's just close this, go to collection and cube, so select all these except for the sphere and delete them. Okay, so select this sphere, go back to XGen, choose open XGen window, create new XGen, and let's go to the fourth option, which is called spheres. Very simple, just click on it. You'll create a bunch of spheres covering this big one. Okay, Can change it to, for example, archive, custom geometry, or spline, the tube shape, or you can change it to card. Okay, let me tell you what card is. Just delete this. Select the sphere again, go to XGen and create new. Okay, we can create a new XGen right from here. Instead of going to open the XGen window and create the description, and just create a description right from the menu. The cards, which is the last option in the primitive type, it is a plane. Okay, it's a simple plane. We can use textures like a leaf texture or a grass texture, and with opacity, with transparency, and so that's it. That's the card's the usefulness of this type of primitive. You just create. As you can see, it's been covered with these cards. We can change the length, or we'll talk about that later on. Let's just change the tile. You can change the tile tilt, sorry, and you can make them stand, okay, in any direction you want. That's it. Okay, so go back to create new description, and we have got the generate the primitives. We've got three options, very useful options. Number one, we've used it so far randomly. For example, if you choose spline and randomly across the surface, it will be distributed or scattered or generated across the surface in a random way. It's very self-explanatory. If you just choose, let me show you in an easier way. Just to cancel, select the sphere, Control D to clone it, and let's just move it here. Okay. Now we've got two spheres instead of one. So select this sphere, choose create new description, choose randomly, choose OK, and this one choose create new description. You can choose from the XGen window. We can choose description, choose create new description. In this time, let's just choose uniform, choose create. Let's see the differences between these two. In fact, there is one difference. This one is in a random way. This one, as you can see, it is very straight. They are all parallel to each other and perfect. Perfect. In fact, it is absolutely perfect. Instead of having a random way, which is more organic, more believable for grasses, for hair, or for any organic object, this is more like a mechanical or more like a geometrical distribution of something. Okay, so let's just delete it, and here we go. Since we had only one collection, so and two description, so when I click deleted the collection, here we go, just disappeared both the descriptions. Okay, select this sphere. Let's just select that sphere and delete it, sphere 2, and we will go. We have only one sphere. Create new description, and let's go to add point you specify. Choose create. We'll get a kind of warning. It tells you that there is no point. Yes, we haven't created any points. We need to create points. Okay, it is very specific, this one. If you want, for example, some hair struts, some hair tubes in some specific areas, you can use this technique. How to do that? Okay, you have to go to the primitives and make sure at specified location is selected. Choose specify points. Okay, you can change the length of the point display, just it's for the display. Then you can click on anywhere you want to have the tube. For example, these two, I'll get two strands of hair or blades of grasses. Okay, or maybe 3, maybe 4, 5, 6. So with that, if I choose save and close, you can see instead of blades of grass or hair strands cover all the sphere, I only get 6 tubes. Okay. All right. So just select the collection and delete it. If I select the sphere again and choose collection, I get collection number 11. Okay, what happened to the 10 previous collection? Even though I deleted from here, if I go to the documents, Maya projects, inside the XGen, we have collection. As you can see, we've got 9 empty folders. They are all empty because there's no information in them. We have to delete them by hand. Okay, make sure to delete them so as to make a clean project, so as instead of having several empty folders, there is no empty folder anymore. Okay, we have got 3 options. We talked about one of them, which is using grooming tool. It's only available when you choose groomable splines. Okay, but if you use any other options, the other 2 option will appear, which is placing and shaping guides using attributes controlled by expressions. Since up to now we only use this one, so let's just go to spline and choose using attributes controlled by expressions. As you can see, we'll get some kind of expression logo, and if you just click on it, we'll get this slider. We can change the lens as we talked about before, but also we get this option here. If we click on it, we will get the XGen expression editor. We can use the expression to control, which is absolutely amazing, to control the length. Okay, and if you wonder what kind of expression is available, just go to the help section and you'll get all the available expressions with brief explanation and sometimes with brief example. Okay, I'll just choose cancel. The other option, if I just close this, delete expression 10, select this guy here, choose XGen, create new description. As you can see, the description starts from 0 again because we deleted all the empty folders. Now Maya creates a new folder, which is collection number 1, okay, or collection 0, can call it any name. Okay, the other one is called placing and shaping guides. Okay, if I selected this, and you can see from the picture here. Okay, also I'll get another warning, tells me there's no guides. Okay, we have to click on this add new guide and click on it. You can place some guides, for example, and the guides is it's different from the specified points. Points will get only one struts of here, very specific, but guides like we want to have, for example, with a specific radius, we want to have the here in this area or in this areas. Okay, so if we just place 2 guides here, if I just refresh it with this eye, we'll get here in this area only. Okay, it is very useful if you want to have here in some specific area. For example, consider this is a head, you can just place guides and we'll get hair in the area you want. Okay, so this is very useful, and also these guides are, you can shape them. For example, you can select the guide, right click, choose guide control point. We can move it like any spline. So for example, you want to make some kind of here, we'll talk about that in more detail later on, but for example, in this case, if I have something like that and choose refresh it, so all the strands will be under the influence of that guide. Okay, they will follow the shape of that guide. Okay, it's very useful when you want to stylize and design a hair shape, okay, or hairstyle. Just delete the collection, and the last option I'm trying to talk about in this create XGen description is adding description to existing collection. We have to have a collection, so let's just create a collection 1 with description 1 and choose create. And this time I'm just trying to create one more description on this surface, so just go to create description, create description. This time trying to add description to existing collection, so I'll get 2 description, but this one I'm trying to use placing and shaping guides, and or you can choose at specified points using attributes. Okay, this is much easier to be see. Just create specify points. Now let's just add a one. So I want to be more in this area. So after we created that, so you can see, just save, and now we've got so many hair strands in that area and not as much in the others. So this one is description 2. You have one collection, and that collection includes 2 description, description 1 and description 2, and this is description 2 and this is description 1. Okay, and from here we can, for example, choose description 1 and you can change the setting, and you can choose description 2 and you can change the setting for it. Okay, so that's for the create uh, create description, create XGen description. We talked about almost every single option. Okay, so that's it. Thanks.